Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Arcade figure, part of the Zemnu Build-A-Figure wave. And this is another one that I know Arcade more than the Hood, but I'm wondering how many of you wanted an Arcade figure. I'm guessing there's definitely some of you out there, but I'm wondering how many of you. If you guys can let me know in the comment section below if you actually wanted a figure of this guy. I'm just curious. I'm finding this information interesting to know how many of you like these somewhat more obscure characters. Okay, so there's some good stuff. There's a lot of reused parts on this guy, some new parts, and some good stuff and some bad stuff. So it's going to be a review if you haven't guessed, and we're going to talk about that stuff. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 6 3/8 inches tall, which makes him pretty close to just over 16 centimeters. And I don't know, it's almost solid white plastic. To me, this is just not an interesting figure at all. The tie is done well enough, the shirt is done well enough, the shoes have a little bit of paint on them, but they look really weird. I mean, I know they're supposed to, but this figure's just not doing it for me aesthetically. The sculpt work is not terrible, it's not as wrinkly as it could be, so that's good. We often see way too many wrinkles on the clothed figures to make it look like cloth. I think his sculpt is pretty good, I like that overall. Let's go ahead and do a question of the day. On a figure like this where there's a lot of white plastic, would you prefer it be clean white, or would you prefer to have some shading thrown on there to bring it to life? I'm always a fan of shading, and so I would rather have some shading, but it is very hard to do on white without making it look bad, so that's probably why they didn't. Or at least I would say that if they did shading more regularly. They did do a little bit of paint though, and it's pretty clean. And that's about it. So there's not a lot for me to talk about aesthetically. It's solid white. The sculpt is clean. The head is pretty good. It's a decent sculpt. I'll give them that. It doesn't look like every other Marvel Legends figure like they have on and off for a while. So yeah, that's pretty good. I think that'll do. So aesthetically speaking, I'm going to go 7. It's a good sculpt, but it just is so bland and boring for me that I'm not into it at all. But it looks like it's supposed to, I guess. Okay, as far as accessories go, we do have the head that comes on him in the package with the short hair, and then we do have the head with the long hair. Probably a better sculpt on the long-haired head for the face. That's a pretty dynamic looking face. Looks good. Alright, and then we have the staff, or whatever you want to call it, and that's done pretty well with a little bit of paint on there. Not much more you can do with that. Accessory-wise, 7 out of 10, I guess. He's got 2 heads and a staff. That's fine. I don't know what else he would really need. I guess that'll do just fine. I wish his hands were set up a little bit better to hold the staff like he's posed on the box. Let me grab the box. I think that'd be a cool pose for him. You can kind of do it. I'll show you at the end of the video. Just that kind of pose. Yeah, you can get close enough. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. We are on a ball peg with the hinge in the neck, and that works fine. You'll be able to pose his head around just fine. He's got a little bit of a lollipop, but it's not too bad. You should be able to hide that fairly easily. Shouldn't be a problem. For the shoulders, they don't go up that far, not even horizontal, so that's a bummer. You do get your full rotation, bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow works really well. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. That's alright. There is an ab crunch in there. It's kind of hard to get to because this is all one piece, but it does work. It is in there, so that's pretty cool. It'll flex the jacket enough for you to do some posing, but it's not going to let you do too much because it is all one piece of plastic. Waist twist is in there. Hips go out to the side pretty well. Going forward, yeah, that's fine. Not quite horizontal, but for a guy in a suit, it should be alright. You do get your thigh swivel and your double jointed knees. And for the ankles, the feet go all the way back, pretty much, and just a touch forward, not quite far enough. You do get a really nice ankle rocker. His feet look really weird to me, and I know it's not just because of the thick soles. They look like it's just not well sculpted. They look like moon shoes more than they do what I think they're supposed to look like, but I could be wrong. You guys can let me know what you think about that. Anyway, the articulation on this guy is pretty average. His shoulders don't go up high enough. He doesn't have the right kind of... He doesn't have a very functional torso. It's just average. So I guess I'll go 7 out of 10. This is a very average wave of Legends so far. And I think this is actually the last one for the wave other than the BAF. So, well, you can go back and check out the other reviews if you need to. But time for a final verdict on this guy. It's one of the most bland figures we've seen in a long time just because it's solid white. And I know he's supposed to be, but it still is. It's still bland. It's well sculpted though. They did a good job with the green plastic in there, the yellow plastic here, and a little bit of paint is there. So it's fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just not, there's nothing really good about it. It's just completely run-of-the-mill average Marvel Legends figure. I would have trouble recommending this to a casual collector for the price point, just because there's not a lot of fun to be had with it, unless you're really into the character, but that would not make you a casual collector, probably. So my final verdict is going to be a generous 7 out of 10. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, really, and that's it. That's all I can really say about this guy. The hair sculpt is nice. I think I probably should mention that. The hair sculpt is probably the best thing on this figure for both heads. So whoever did that, good job. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.